Hey chaps, welcome
I
to
know a song
episode
that'll
20...
get on your nerves, get on your nerves.
Straight away. Welcome to episode 23 of Nemcast, and today we're joined by Luke, Negative Airsoft. Just having a catch up really. We're going to be talking about what's coming up in this year, what's been going on, things we might have missed out on, and that sort of thing. And we're going to watch Luke swear at an Evo for a bit as well. So that being that,
Third fucking Evo of the fucking day.
I'm going to drop a quick ad break, and we'll be right back. Cheers chaps. And we're back. So, how's things been, mate?
I was ill for the entire of Christmas. Well, running up to Christmas, they had a fucking operation. That was quite good. That didn't go to plan, which means I couldn't eat or drink over Christmas. What else? I got a really big operation. My face didn't actually work, so that's a bonza thing, isn't it? What else?
So Christmas was a bit of a mess up. Did you keep up with the work though? That's the question. Were you down doing jobs and cracking on, or is that something you've just had to put to one side?
No, I did in the end take about 5 days off because I was just fucking miserable and I wouldn't have got anything done.
I always find if I'm that ill, I just can't concentrate, especially on things like shimming or that sort of thing. So
anything like an autopilot is fine, but having to actually think.
Some things have cracked off as well since, obviously, me and you...
You cracked one off? Well, it happens.
Oh, always, mate. But some things have sort of occurred since we last spoke. Have you got anything big coming up? Is there anything interesting you can tell us that you're allowed to tell us yet? I know you've got some things coming up, but I don't know what you're allowed to say. I've got
to do some summertime festival thing with some Burke. It's you. And then I've got a couple of the companies that have gone, hey, do you want to do some work together and we'll do some bits and bobs? And I've gone, yeah, sure, no problem. And we'll see what they say. Some of them that comes to nothing. Sometimes it comes to everything. No one's to know. But it is just the normal stuff that I'm doing. I'm trying to change the things that I'm willing to work on because there are too many things that I just don't want to fucking touch. Like Evos, just why it's fucking 3 in a day.
I bet you're looking forward to that Ares HP engine dropping across your bench any day now.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, because I'm definitely going to take one of those on, aren't I? Yeah, that's it.
Hey, that might be an Ares that doesn't break straight away.
I guarantee that gearbox casing still fractures. They've still got the same ETU setup. It's not going to work.
I don't know how they work in that. It was like when Retro
That's
Arms...
all right, neither do they.
They brought out that... Retro Arms announced they're bringing out a gearbox for Ares, the V2, but they kept the Ares MOSFET. It's
pointless, isn't it? It's absolutely pointless. What you want to have is, the ability to put in a different ETU. It is just one of those. But think of it when this is before your time. But when TM first released their very first gas blowback Glock, they did the Glock 26, and everyone was like, "Why? Why are you not doing at that time Gen 2 Glock 17? Why are you not doing that?" And they goes, "Don't worry, we've got a new Glock coming out." And they did the 26 Advanced, which no one liked, and eventually they did the 17. So I'm assuming the people who really want to repair their gun will buy the new gearbox, and then they will have to go and buy the different one if they decide, no, I want to have a different ECU. So it's just, I guess it's marketing. That's why I see it. Again, I could be wrong, I normally am.
This is true. I'm dreading the first one that comes across my bench because I don't see it being long before they start to flood the market because they seem quite reasonably priced as well, I will say.
Well, that's the problem. They are far too reasonably priced, and for the UK, they're going to be all over the place. And that means people like you have to fix them. And I'm going to go, no, just AEG it, mate.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not a massive fan of HPA. I only tend to do them if I've currently got a customer. Someone will say, look, I've got this HPA gun, can you have a quick look at it? And it's normally just a hot rubber. That's just not letting it feed or whatever, because they're quite picky, aren't they?
I wouldn't know. I've never worked on one. I've got a couple myself, but I've never even plugged them in. It's the only way to get that replica. So that's why I've got them. So I've got a couple of 134 mini cannons. I've got some classic old HPA stuff, but I've not really. I don't touch HPA. I'm absolutely. It's the death of airsoft. So
I wouldn't mind it if you could hide it all. If you could hide the pipe and all that sort of stuff.
I wouldn't mind if the people using it were just not anywhere near where real airsofters are playing, because it is just hose the area from far away, and that's the end of it. And the people who really want to go out and play airsoft with their mates, they've always been, I hate this, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But it's more and more people have got it, so now I've had to buy it as well so I can keep up. And then they just stand near their regen point with a DMR going fucking double finger tap like that. And it's like, yeah, you're just killing airsoft. You've turned everything into team deathmatch. Fuck you, well done.
That does seem
we're
to be
not
the
all
case.
like that.
Yes, you fucking are.
I know out of the players I've played alongside with that have HPA, there's a definite 50-50 split of people that have seemed really sound and really not. And it is a shame.
And when you see regular, normal, proper airsofters with electric guns and spring guns, generally speaking, electric guns, spring guns, gas guns, when you see those people, it's not a 50-50 split. It's more like 80% are good and 20% are cunts.
It won't be so bad if they were all like Daytona. Where
I like the bit where you went,
I'm going to edit that bit.
I'm going to Daytona, can't I do it now?
It's when you see people with the Daytonas and they make the big clunky noises, but they can't hit the broadside of a barn door.
No, exactly. And, it doesn't have a mad rectifier either. So it's all good.
They are quite fun.
He hasn't given me the screws that I fucking need to do the gun. I need the fucking screws. Without the fucking screws, I can't do the fucking gun.
I bet they're the Allen screws as well.
Yeah, they are.
The Allen heads they strip out on the first opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the fucking ones.
So what's the story with the Evos? You were going to tell me there's a difference between them, isn't there?
There are things that this is a very old one. It arrived to me like this. And
that might be...
Yeah, it's pretty good. But there are things that are different. So you've got a little bit that's attached to here and attached to here. So it's slots in a bit on here, the different slots in places. You can slide that directly in. And sometimes you can't slide it in. You have to drop it directly downwards, all that stuff. There are certain differences. This plate is different. It just goes with the territory of having something that's been updated, basically. And this one's been a lot easier.
So the older Evo seems to be easy to work on. Maybe that basically...
That's probably why the button doesn't work. Yeah, because this is an older Jeftron as well, so it's got silicon wires here.
I really think that might be the situation then.
Yeah. Huh. The bastards.
The more you know. So
it might not work yet, though, because I've not tested.
Yeah, well, we'll find out if you start swearing shortly. So from what we've seen...
I do need 4 screws. Yeah.
Basically, so long story short, we've got a couple of Jeftrons in some Evos, and the cut-off, the mag empty catch button.
Yeah, the bolt release, contact. The fake bolt release. It doesn't make any contact. That's it.
It's just not touching the switches, but on the old one, it seems to be a different size. So maybe Jefferson need to pull finger and update something.
If they've changed the design of the outside of the again, I've only just started working Evos again because it was when I was again at the mall every week. You'd see nothing but half upgraded or fully upgraded TM recoils just fucking dying. And it was nothing but G&Gs that didn't feed and the fronts fell off, and it was always Evos that just went pop, bang, red light, I don't work. So I just went, I'm not fucking around with these, I can't be asked.
Fair.
And I didn't.
I mean, the MOSFETs weren't the best. What were the base MOSFETs manufactured by?
Fuck knows. Somebody said they were ASCII based, and I don't know if that's true or not. I can see some similarities, but I just stopped doing them. Because everyone had an ASCII Gen 1 is the best thing ever. And then as normal, well, we've got a Gen 2 out that fixed all the problems with the first one that it didn't actually have, but we fixed them anyway. But here's a Gen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they're still iffy.
Yeah, I had a Gen 1 ASCII in my ICS Galil when I first started, and it was, it wasn't a very nice MOSFET. Let's put it that way, politely. Definitely.
And so, that's all the guff that is. I've got to find screws. I'm shuffling around now through fucking screws like a squirrel that's lost his peanuts.
You've got exactly what I've got. It's just a pot of random screws, haven't you?
Oh, some of these have been in here for like 20 years as well.
Yep, it's exactly like my pot of screws. It's just there's washers, there's bolts, there's things where you go, well,
every couple of months later. I spend, £100 on 1,000 different size of nuts and bolts and whatever, and then the one I need, I ain't got. But again, this is the way they do it. So I have to use different screws. I'm just going to use 2 of these, and now I have to do it. I haven't got a choice. We use those. Fuck them.
Now, you said, like you mentioned earlier, we've got this event coming up, which is something I've been asked to do. You're going to pop along to that. Are we going to get you playing, or are you going to be sat in a gazebo all day selling your things, or what's the plan?
I'm going to sit around on my ass and talk to people.
Fair enough. Are you not bringing any rifles to sell? Anything like that? No. Have you got any thoughts?
I've got loads of thoughts, but the internet says I shouldn't have them.
Yeah, probably best.
So, long story short, I'd rather not play against loads of people that know I'm going to be there, that's going to go, well, I'm definitely going to hurt with my HPA. I'm not fucking stupid.
This is a reasonable thing. I might make you sit in one of the Land Rovers over the weekend, though. That'd be good fun.
Well, we are there definitely for one day. But trying to get me, like, any festival at all, I'm done within an hour. I'm like, fuck this. It's hot, or it's cold, or it's wet, or it's dry, or it's dusty, or it's muddy, and there are people over there, and the drinks are too expensive, and I could be in a pub, and I've just been told off. No, I'm not a festival person, but I will be there just to go no, for one of the days.
Now the whole plan with the festival is we're trying to help small businesses start, even if it's startup techs, the dreaded bedroom tech, whatever it might be, who are trying to get a foothold in the industry and just attempting to gain some knowledge, get some trade accounts, and general advice. So I think you being there will help massively, just for the fact that someone could come up to you and say, look, I've been struggling on this particular job, and then you might say, oh, it's obviously that, Yeah, so
I mean, the last time that happened, somebody said, hey, we might have discussed this in the previous thing, somebody walked into the site that I was at most recently, and he was like, can anyone look at this for me? And he had an Aries, and I went, oh, yeah, walked over, and I can look at it, and I crouched down, looked at it, and went, yeah, it's an Aries, that won't work, and walked away. But then he had a tantrum, like a stomping off, wheel spinning his car tantrum leaving site. I'm not the best person for getting serious advice from, because I would prefer that I did funny shit instead.
Oh, 100%, definitely. But sometimes it's nice to speak to other techs. It's even if I say I have an issue with a job or something like that, I know I could probably just message you, say, "Hey, dude, I'm really struggling with this.
Yeah,
Have you ever come across this issue before?" And you'll go, "Oh, fuck hell, mate, it's that." It's the same with Sam at Kingdom of Airsoft. He'll be able to do the same. I still need to sort out that podcast at some point where all of us sit down. It's just the only bit that's holding me back a little bit is Sam's really bad internet. He's on Starlink and it's bad.
I've never heard of that. It sounds Scottish to me.
It's
what are you using for your internet? Special brew.
It's that fucking thing you have to buy it's Elon Musk's thing, isn't it? I'm not quite sure how it all works, but you have to buy the thing.
What, Nazi salutes?
Yeah,
you can't power the internet by Nazis. Oh wait, he tried.
But when I did that particular episode with him, we didn't quite have enough of a stable connection for a video, so it'd have to be an audio one with him, which isn't too bad, but there's a really long delay when you're chatting. So that took some editing, that podcast did, to chop out those sort of few second delays between each sentence.
Well, that's why I'm using the headphones and trying to ignore the fact I can hear my own fucking voice, because that really puts me off.
Yes, we need to get you a proper mic, I think. I might just
but it's set up a donation for places, and Luke can't be asked to fucking buy anything.
Yeah. To be fair though, if something like that, the only mics I found that work really well with your phone is those Rode wireless Go's. You plug the adapter into your phone, the receiver, and the other bit just clips on your shirt, and you're good to go.
It sounds like something won't work for me. I can't make regular websites work. I can't make my Skybox work. I don't do technology because it's for hippie bastards, and I just don't fucking like it. I do not like technology. I'm people like they're stockpiling all kinds of things like Bitcoin and other things that I don't understand anything about. But they're also not doing the one thing that you're stocking up on, which is pencils and pencil sharpeners. Because when the bomb goes off, when that happens, I'll be the only person with a fucking life that works.
It's all fucking worthless. I decided to try and attempt a small foray into attempting not Bitcoin, but something to that accord. My mate went, "Oh yeah, you just do this. You buy this, and you just put a couple of quid in." And within the first hour, it just tanked. And I went, "Oh, I'm not doing that again." Just instant regret. And you're just looking at things going, I don't understand.
You're buying things with fucking dark web currency. That's what you're doing, okay? And I don't care if it's considered. Sketchy. It's very sketchy. That is the only reason that shit existed. We need something that we can fucking trade in because we want to fucking buy all kinds of nasty shit and get people killed. No, it's bollocks.
It's also good for avoiding tax, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. I think that's why they first started doing it.
It's going to be really, really good for avoiding tax when yours tanked instantly. You ain't got to pay tax on it. Ain't got to pay tax on fucking things.
It's not going to fucking work. It's not work for me, I tell you. Fucking hell. It's definitely not work for me.
No. It's like everyone said I should invest. Put money in ISAs. I did that. Oh, the government funded and all this government stuff. And yeah, it's completely safe. No, lost those.
Yeah, the ISAs were fucking useless. It's just... The only thing that seems to be a safe bet to buy at the minute is literally houses if you can fucking afford one. But that's
why I got mine during COVID. We knew that was the time to snap and just get something because that was going to work.
That's really bit a lot of people in the arse, that whole mortgage shit. But anyway, we're going down a complete fucking random rabbit hole.
Yeah.
What have you got on tomorrow, dude? What rifles have you got coming up? Is there anything interesting?
I think there's a G&G tomorrow if I don't finish this one because I'm sick of looking at fucking Evos now. This is for a friend, so.
Now, you do have one that's a Starship... I'm going to bring this up now, actually. You've got a Starship Trooper who's going to potentially look at... We're looking at 3D printing a thing, and you fucking got me good and proper on the internet, just for a change.
Yeah. If I see a chance that I could run with the ball, I'll fucking do it.
The minute I saw you take that screenshot, and I sort of... Have you seen that Punisher bit where he goes, wait, no, wait, and it fucking starts panicking?
No, I've only seen the original Punisher.
I'll put the meme up and you'll see.
Okay.
It was one of those, and then I went online and went, oh god, he's posted it on fucking UK Airsoft community.
No, it was on my website. It was on my Facebook.
Within a good 10 minutes, I was getting like floods of messages from people going, why are you gay? And I just went, oh no.
Because Negative Airsoft made me that way. Yeah. I'm going to make a noise for a second. You can enjoy this because I've got to. Right, I'm going to modify a motor. Give me 2 seconds.
A few moments later.
And that's how I managed to fit an entire midget up my arse.
I assume you've just done the pinion gear, taking the edges off them, have you?
Because I don't want to change. He's got no money, so I'm just trying to do this.
For make it work as
free, basically.
Mm-hmm. So what was the war crime? I assume they've arrived in with war crimes, have they, by some other tech, or is it a?
The other two were one of them was just someone did it himself. It was not good. The other one was it was done by a shop and then it was sold and bought second hand, and it lasted for 2 games. So
that's not lasted long at all.
This one, the guy's had it for fucking years. And he can't make it go. He tries to put in a nozzle that was like 2.5 millimeters longer than one of these requires. So
I don't know why he changed the nozzle on them. To be fair, there's nothing wrong with them.
No, there is no reason. But again, maybe broke a nozzle. I don't know. They are an Evo.
So, out of the ASG line, what is your most hated ASG then? Obviously, you sat in front of a pile of Evos, but there must be some others.
Nah, because most of it's just KJ and King Arms. You know, I've got nothing against most of their stuff. It's just the Evos are not that great and people pretend they are.
One thing I need to ask as well, have you come across any of the TM NGRS MP5s yet on your bench?
Yes.
Thoughts? I've seen a few. They're very popular at the minute for some reason. I've got one coming up.
Noisy. They are sluggish. Every single one that I've ever seen that is completely standard can barely hop a 2.5, and everyone goes, no, mine shoots lasers. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. You're telling porkies. They do not shoot lasers. They are noisy. A couple of proprietary bits in there. It's very frustrating. But they are, if you want the shiny thing, then you must have the shiny thing. So this is what happens. You must get the shiny thing.
pay to fix the shiny thing after about a month.
That's it. Spend £1,000 inside it to make it super awesome, and then it's like, yeah, it's just not worth it, is it?
I've heard the MOSFETs are super proprietary, but I've not looked into it.
The only ones I've done, friends have come to me and gone, I've got one, here's a crate of booze, just do it. And I just do the thing, they supply the parts, they go, there you go, fuck off out the door. And they're still running, they're still out there, so it must be fine.
Fair enough. It's one of those.
I
suppose it's one of them guns where you've just got to fix it as best as you can, make sure it runs as long as possible, keep it as low stress as possible.
Exactly.
It's not something you dare stick 13-to-1s in, something like that.
It's a relentless, pointless task. You bought it for the one reason, to make it less accurate. You bought the low-powered gun that is going to be less accurate because it goes bouncy. So I can't finish this until I can make loads of fucking noise. I've got to make loads of fucking noise.
What have you got left to do?
I've got no idea yet. I'm trying to put his warhead back in. But obviously he's got these massive long wires, and because they've designed it this way, you've got this cutout here that's meant to be for a wire to sit across, but it doesn't, because you've also got these gaps down here. There we go. And obviously that wire would need to be, technically I could go around the top here, I don't know, go around the top. And maybe that would seat them in, but they are designed with almost no push and play on one of these, so... I think that's something with the ASG line, and that I really don't rate, and that's their motors. They are amazing for a very short space of time, and they burn out way too quickly.
Is that down to the carbon brushes, would you say? You know a bit more about motors than I do. Is it the carbon brushes that tend to burn out quicker because of the quality of them, or is it the armature, or what?
It's normally the armature. Both that and the brushes together, they just suddenly... they're kicking out so much shit, it's kind of pointless, and you go, nah, I can't be asked. So I'm just going to try using his... This is a motor that was on my bench with somebody else's gun that is... it may or may not have a ball bearing stuck inside it. I can't remember, so I don't mind testing this to see what happens. I reckon if I put positive to positive, I reckon that'd be a lot better. But this might sound like fucking garbage. I don't know yet, because... It literally arrived to me in 1,000 pieces with bits missing, so I'm having to make random parts to make it go. But this is what I do for my friends.
Proper junkyard builds. It's after.
Yeah, it's as long as they don't go around. Yeah, Negative Airsoft built this for me. It's fucking great, and it dies because they've spent literally no money apart from postage on it. And I'm like,
about 50p.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fuck around with that, you bastard.
Then you get the, it died. And I went, all right, did it die the way I said it'd die? Because you haven't spent the money. Yeah. Can you fix it?
It should have lasted a bit longer, though, shouldn't it? Yeah. But, let's see if I can put you in there like that. I don't want to use the crimping tool. I want to keep these the way they are.
I fucking hate doing that shit.
I'm perfectly fine with it. I just, I like it when I don't have to fuck around. Because this is my third of the day and I don't like fucking around.
It's this stage where you either push the motor connectors on perfectly, or you get the helling with it and you grab a pair of tweezers and you try and put it on, then you rip the heat shrink.
It's the fact that these, just as soon as you tighten the screws up, or just tighten up the bottom, they just eject. So you've got to fucking knock them in again. I've got bigger ones and I've got these bigger screws, which means drilling out the fucking holes on here and blah, 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 blah.
Faffing around.
Yeah, I don't like faffing around. I can't be fucking bothered, so. Especially with a gun that I really hate. If somebody's paying me good money to do it, then I'll do it, but, this is why...
Evos aren't off the list, then?
They're not off the list, but I really... they just ain't as good as people say they are. Not by a long shot.
What is on your list at the minute of no-goes? If people want to contact
anything by bolt. Anything by bolt whatsoever is never going to happen again. Why would they make all the end cap and everything out of metal? It's CNC'd. Yeah, but they're made in the Chinese factory, and I've got to say, I reckon there's a chance they might not be great. So anything made by bolts, any gas shotguns, because fucking pointless. TM recoils I'll only do for close friends that I know very well, and they supply absolutely everything and just give me free beer to do the work, and that's it, and then entertain me while I do it. Dance monkey dance. Well, let's see if that works. Let's see if that is actually going to work.
Give it one of those.
Because I don't even know if his ETU works. He's got it's a Jeftron, so there's buttons that have just fallen off of it. So we'll see if it works. It makes that noise. I have noticed as well, that's the one thing about Evos. When you plug the battery into a standard one, you've got time to go get a cup of tea and come back before it goes, it lets you work.
It takes ages.
I've got headphones on. I don't know how that sounds.
No, it sounded fine, actually. Weirdly, it sounded fine.
It's not too bad. I've had to make him a nozzle from scratch, so we'll see how that works out.
How the hell did you make a nozzle from scratch?
I take if I've got the correct diameter of nozzle, sometimes you make, I just needed a slimmer one, so it wasn't too bad. But if you've got to make a wider one, I literally just take a piece of, it could be nylon or POM tube, and just literally drill the right hole down the middle, go on the outside, bore it inwards. If you've got to make them scratch, it's literally just stick it on the machine and just manually zip with it. Okay. If I've got to take an existing nozzle, and this one was an existing nozzle, this one was literally, I don't know what it was, but it had to be, I had to cut it down from, I think it was like 24 point something millimeter down to 18.5. I've gone to 18.6, so it gives me a bit of wiggle room. But then I had to bring it down this way as well. So again, it's putting it on the machine and then just manually until it gets to the right diameters and all that other stuff.
Are you running a lathe then, or are you doing a sort of a...
I bench drill it.
Oh, fair.
It's so much hassle setting up a lathe, and it's like with a bench drill. I use my eyes. I go by eye.
I keep chewing over getting... have you seen those watchmakers lathes?
Yeah.
They're quite a small form factor. You can fit them on a bench, and they've got a small jaw, easy to work. And I keep considering getting one, but I just don't know if there's much point to it. 'Cause you can turn down all sorts with it, really. Yeah,
and that's all it comes down to, realistically. Just getting the little thing that's useful. I mean, I've got a belt sander, handheld belt sander, and it is for when I'm doing stocks and I'm just doing woodwork for people. So when it's making them a custom stock for an SSQ-22 or custom woodwork for an AK or whatever, and I literally just sit there with a cable tie around the power button, just manually doing it this fucking close. Like when I was making that noise earlier on, that is me with an angle grinder this close to my fucking hand. I'd rather do it by eye, because if I could spend hours doing the maths to set it all up, and it'll be completely wrong because I'm fucking thick as pig shit. So I trust my eyes. I don't trust my brain.
One of the most helpful things I've found over the past couple of years is, I just call it the poor man's lathe, really. So I've got a bench vise. I get a battery drill, put it in the vise carefully, just gently clamp the battery area, get a quick grip. So put the thing in the battery drill that I want to turn down, whatever it might be, and put a quick grip over the trigger, and then I can file or sand or do whatever I need to do. It's normally, if I'm like shortening an air nozzle or tidying one up that's got obliterated by something, it's normally your favourite hop units, the max model ones, and they've been scratched to fuck. So you just get a bit of wet and dry on there, just polish them clean.
It's all that stuff. I use them for crown barrels and stuff. The same thing. Just get bench drill, and I can pivot mine outwards, and then I can just get the barrel, as long as it's nice and thick, so I can really grip onto it. And then it's all manual. Go in there, get to the different angles. As long as you polish it all out, you don't make any mistakes, and it's straight. And that's the thing. That people would sit there for hours crowning the end of it, but it's pissed. And when the BB comes out, even if it's going through crowning, if one is slightly longer than the other, it's gonna have an effect with the air. It's gonna flick it off in random directions if you're not careful. So yeah, so there's so many reasons behind it. Right,
well, I think I'm gonna do a tech tips on the poor man's lathe. I think that'll be a shout.
If you get it right, then it's absolutely fine. If somebody goes, like I've just had to do 2 MP5K barrels, and they are very particular lengths, so I just cut them down a little manually. So that works out nicely. They look really, really pretty, and they fire consistently. I really, really fucking hate. I don't get why they've done it this way. Like, even with this here, it's not making any contacts or anything. It's sort of holding it in an okay way. But when you've got aftermarket motors, it holds it so fucking tall. It's and especially with these, where you get no up and down adjustment whatsoever. It's like JGG 36s. You know, it doesn't matter. You've got a spring on there. It doesn't matter anything at all. When you adjust it in, it doesn't go in and out. It just bends the cage. It's just really stupid design on this. You've got to get it right straight away, and then you're using that not to quieten it down. You're using that to just lock it in place.
Yeah, it's just to stop it budging too much. It's the same goes for AK motor cages. When you do everything, you set all the motor heights all nicely, and then you notice the motor can go like that in the cage.
Yeah,
and move up and down.
It's a pain in the arse, but there's nothing you can do about it. I'm gonna make some noise for 2 seconds. Hang on.
Yeah, you're right.
2,000 years later.
So yeah, there's loads of things that people could learn, but I don't want to give all my tips away.
No, while you were grinding, I got the dreaded message off UPS. Your parcel's scheduled for delivery. You need to pay the import fees.
Yeah, fucking right. About 2 days ago, it was Saturday. I got a letter through the door.
Put 50p in you. Right, go.
Yeah, there we go. Do it. I got the letter come through the door on Saturday, thanking me for paying my invoice, which I paid over like 2 months ago or some shit. Which in the meantime, PayPal have pulled back from them, and Barclays have pulled back from them because they didn't even send their own fucking letter. They sent it through Raw Mail. Raw Mail delivered their invoice letter because they don't even trust that to go fucking right.
The thing is, everyone, no matter where you import from, they seem to insist on using UPS. From what I've been told, it's because it's a cheaper price, but
no, it's not that. It's because when you are importing anything that's airsoft related or anything like that, UPS jumped in and went, we're going to snatch up everything for when Brexit happens, and we'll be the only people going to offer everybody, and we're going to take on airsoft guns and air guns and firearms. We'll do it all, and let's do it. And they sat there waiting for Brexit, twiddling their thumbs. That's the same time as DHL was hiring, because obviously during that time I was paying for other things and paying for Z Adventures stuff and all that crap that I had to make some more money on the side. So I was working for DHL, and they 6 months ahead of, or maybe 8 months ahead of Brexit. They didn't even know if it was going to happen. It hadn't been voted on, but they were hiring just to be sure and coming up with plans on how to train the staff and what could be done, and that's all good. That's all fine. And then when Brexit happened, UPS went, right, we've got all these contracts. What do we do? What are we doing? What are we going to do? And they hadn't put any plans in place. Nothing. Which is why everything just sat there. And obviously, they don't have a tracking system. UPS doesn't track. It's a best guess scenario. If you were to track your package and then wait 2 days, and then as soon as you track your package again, the system will automatically go, well, it's been 2 days. It's either where it was before, or I don't know. If you track it like 3 hours after you last previously tracked it, it might go, what's 3 hours away from where it was? Paris! It's in Paris. Because it doesn't actually track.
Oh.
You can track a package, and I've done this with loads of companies. You can track the package and see where the package is as soon as they send you the tracking number. And it will tell you, yeah, Stanford La Hope. Yeah, we've got your package. And they haven't even sent it yet. It's not even been collected. Because it is all just best guesswork. And they are absolutely scandalous.
So what did you do for, was it DHL you said it was?
I did security checks and searching packages and dealing with dangerous items and all that stuff.
Do you ever find anything really dangerous and interesting? Or was it sort of just... Oh, go on, you got to say.
I had somebody, I opened a box, and inside the box was a 9-volt battery with a little connector on it and the 2 wires. There was a T-shaped piece of plastic pipe. So it was just a T-shaped plastic pipe. The wires ran into it. On this side was like a stopwatch timer thing with no casing on it. And on this side was just what looked like a piece of silly putty. It was like bright pink. And that was sent out. The batteries weren't actually in the little tiny battery box that was with it. And that tells me it was never a real bomb. It wasn't going to be. It was obviously not a real bomb. But someone had posted it. I mean, why would you post it like that through the post? Is it to cause fuss? Is it to go, oh, what might happen? It's normally so you can check, is this going to get found? Are they going to see this? And yeah, the X-ray guys saw it straight away. Luke opened his package, blah. And it was decreed, well, actually, they've not broken the laws. There is a way you can't send this. It's like, this is a tester. This is a test device. This is a fucking IED. That's what it is. They're testing the systems. And so we held it, and that was it. But I got told off for holding it. Well, there's no reason why not. But I've had other things, I've had the nastiest kind of porn come through on VHS tapes. The worst thing you can think of, that stuff comes through, and like you look and go, well, where's this stuff from? And they go, it's VHS tapes. Who cares? There's nothing we can ship those tapes. And I've gone, nope, I want to see them. I want to know what's on it. So I put them to the side, called the police. I think it's a dodgy. And then police turn up and they go, yep, we're keeping those. Because the country they were coming from and the country they were going to, one of the richest countries on the planet, they wouldn't have a VHS machine. They'd be running ultra high def everything. So why would they be sending VHS tapes? Brand new VHS tapes. So it's just like anything, you keep your eyes open for shit that might be happening. Yeah, that's better now. Look at that. Fucking straight in. So, and that's basically what happens. That was my job. I had people sending condoms through the post. Did you know you can send, as an individual, if you're a company, all right, so if you work at a blood bank, if you work at a sperm donors clinic, you need to have all the paperwork, otherwise we will not process your package. However, if you're just a random individual and you want to send blood through the post, it's not a crime, and you can do it. No problem. And that is how some guy from, I think it was Wiltshire, he sent a Johnny full of his own cum to a German model. And we're searching away, and your finger goes in, you're like, oh, brilliant. And as much as, you should be wearing gloves and you should be wearing all this stuff, when you're using sharps and you are doing everything you're doing, those gloves last seconds. You spend more time putting gloves on and off, and it's your own fault if you don't put them on, but that's how I ended up with a fucking finger and a Johnny. But I kept that guy's address, because one day I'll fucking get him. Because that was fucking grim. But we've had shotguns come through, rifles, everything. Just everything you can name.
That must be quite cool, actually.
It was my job to make sure if airsoft came through, it got taken away. I was the guy that had to call the police because somebody's airsoft guns come through. That's really good when you tell people, don't use DHL. If you've got a contract and it's just with DHL, you might be able to send some airsoft guns. But if you're an individual, it's going through DHL Express, you're not going to get it through. And the amount of packages addressed to me coming through with guns in, and I'm there. I'm phoning from DHL. We've got your package. We've got to squash it. It's going to get taken away by the police. You're a fucking idiot. But just so you know, I'm also the guy you're sending it to, and that's really lucky for you because we can bypass this. Do what I fucking say. Don't send it this way. Send it the correct method.
So if anyone does listen to this and they want to know what's the best way to post a gun?
Raw mail, 48 hour. Don't pay for the additional, they say that you must drop it off directly to a post office, because the reason they tell you that is, so you buy everything online, then you go to the post office, they scan the label, and that's it. Raw mail does not take anything gun related whatsoever. They don't do it, and they are not part of Parcel Force until they decide that they are part of Parcel Force, depending on which kind of arsehole you're dealing with on the day and how much of a jumped up cunt they are. So if you're going to send something out, it has to be you go online, order it online, print your label, stick it on your box, and then take it to a post office, because that way, if something happens with it, because you're not insured, you are insured for up to £150 at the minimum. However, if you read the small print, it does say that low-powered air weapons are not covered, and the only way that you can be insured to send an airsoft gun is via low-powered air weapon. So even if you pay people send me stuff, they pay £400 worth of insurance, and it's like, no. If it goes missing, you're fucked. You won't get anything back out of it, because they're going to want to know what's in it. They'll look at your paperwork and go, low-powered air weapon. But then if they do find the package and it happens to be in a corner and you've lied and said, oh no, it's a radio controlled car, they have to open it and see what it is. Yeah, we've got it. They put it through the x-ray or whatever, look at it. No, you've not done this properly. We're crushing it. So there is no one apart from UPS that has agreed they'll take them. And UPS in the UK isn't too bad. But it's when it's going out of the country or coming into the country that it's an absolute clusterfuck. So literally just do the cheapest method, about 12, 13 quid. And just Parcel Force. They will collect it for your address if you click it. They really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, when I've sent stuff off, when I first started doing all this of the tech side of it, I didn't know how to send stuff off, and I reached out to a few people, and they said, "Oh, it's Parcel Force 48 hour. You just take it into a post office and just say it's an airsoft gun or a paintball marker." Which, I suppose it raises less eyebrows if you're in a crowded post office.
Exactly.
But it's a sticky old thing, isn't it? So you've had a fair few run-ins with import duty, haven't you? With
oh yeah, fucking yeah, UPS are complete wankers. I have obviously I'm the UK repair centre for the AEGs for Novorich, and whenever somebody comments online going, "Fucking this package is meant to be here and it's not," and I got it from Novorich, I'm going to send it back. So I give them a little poke and go, "You need to stop using UPS, and here's why." And that's why Taiwan Gun obviously don't ship to the UK. And as far as I'm aware, people have been going, "No, we are trying to not use UPS." It always starts with, "Oh, we've never really had a problem." Then eventually it's like, "No, we know we've had problems. We're really sorry, but fucking hell." We know. And that's everybody who tries to import anything airsoft related from anywhere into the UK. It's just a fucking ball ache.
That's an interesting topic to cover as well, which I'd be interested in the story of. How did you come about doing the repair work for Novorich?
I made a rude video as a meme and put it on the internet. And oh god, months after that, maybe a month after that, I guess, I had my first SSR 15 come across the bench, and I went, okay, let's have a little look, blah 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 blah. And it was, if you're going to buy a VFC, it was the best VFC to get because it had all the shit parts taken out mostly, and they made some attempt at shimming mostly, and they mostly come out at night mostly, but there's a little few things that could have been tipped up on it. And I made a video going, they should have fucking paid attention to that. But generally speaking, if you must have a VFC, this is the best VFC to get if you must have a VFC. And I got an email direct from Novorich, and he was like, "Yeah, have a conversation." And I was like, "Oh, fuck. Oh, shit." So, "Yeah, I've seen your video." I did a video call with him. "Yeah, I've seen your video." I'm like, because I thought it was the rude video. I didn't know it was that one. I thought it was the one that was
basically a round of fucks.
Yeah. So the video was, it's him and he's walking around doing laser. This is a 300 or 400 person milsim event. It's got to last for the whole 3 weekends, and then it just cuts to the old lady playing, trying to start the lawnmower. Turns around and goes, "Oh, shut up, you cunt!" And and that's the video I thought it was. And so during the conversation, I was like, "I really thought it was the meme I made." So I'm glad this is a different conversation. Yeah, you want people to just they send it to me, and then we'll keep parts here, and I'll fix it and invoice you. Yeah, fine. Yeah, done. And that was it. And that's the only time I spoke to him. I speak to most other people there, but not really him. You don't normally, if you've got a problem at Burger King, you don't go and speak to the CEO.
No, this is true. That's an interesting story, really. I mean, I bet it was a bit strange being contacted by, because he is sort of one of the biggest sort of names in Airsoft, isn't he?
Yeah.
When you think about it in that respect. I mean, Christ, I remember watching him years and years ago.
Ooh. It made an at me then.
Could be low battery.
Nah, this one's fresh. This is a very, very old Jeff Troll, and the gun it's like literally a Gen 1 fucking Evo, so I'm not surprised if it doesn't want to do things. Down there. You see how that sounds exactly the same between 11.1 and a 7.4? It's not the size that matters, it's all about the C rating. Shut the fuck up, you cunt. Because 20C, 25C, but this is a fucking 7.4, okay? Literally, this is a lower voltage. Why is it? Basically, exactly the fucking same. Please, honestly, tell me. I'd love to know. If it's all about the C rating. Fuck off. Nonsense.
I've never trusted the C rating.
It's made up. It's no one puts the correct C rating on the outside of the batteries. It don't happen. It don't happen. This does sound far more crunchy, but I know that he's abused the fuck out of everything. I'm not surprised that it's crunchy.
One thing I've been meaning to ask you, because I was asked by a friend, the Novorich LMG that came out, there was that chap who had it lock up on him, and he did that sort of video where he says, "Oh, the trigger's locked on, it won't stop firing."
I was made aware of the video. I haven't watched it because I don't watch any Airsoft videos because I'm not a loser. Anyone who watches Airsoft videos is a loser.
I literally only checked out that intro to see how bad it was because someone asked me if it was worth getting one. I thought I'd best do my due diligence before I answer the question because I'd had none across my bench. What are your thoughts on it as
the
far
bit that went
as...
wrong? Mm-hmm. I mean, I did the entire review. I did an entire rip it all apart video. Again, if you must have a 249, It is definitely one of the better ones on the market. The parts that they've changed are absolutely worthwhile changing. It's stuff that I would have changed as well. I did point out that they have not sorted out the AoE, and they really fucking must. And there was something else as well that needed sorting out, and I forget what it was, but they didn't do that either. There's two things I went, that's a fuck up. But any 249, as soon as I said, have you seen this video where it starts firing randomly and all the every single 249 60 PKM, it's a fucking £1.50 micro switch. If you press that button and it's got the arm on it, if you pull it too hard, you might be able to push that arm up into the gears.
Into the gearbox,
and then it will lock up. Or you might have it whereby that screw should, generally speaking, things vibrate. It always vibrates out. I've seen it once or twice where screws have vibrated in, but it's so rare. It's not impossible, but you'll never see it in your lifetime, It's like a aurora borealis. It's not going to happen. So I was looking at, I was listening to what the dude was saying, and I was saying, you've seen it, it just runs away. I'm like, yeah, but he's firing it, it's vibrating. And because it's vibrating, that vibration is making the screw go outwards, which means it's getting it closer to that micro switch. And it was just able to keep the button held down. Nothing melted, exploded, broke. It is literally the screw just came undone, got higher, and made permanent contact with the micro switch. And all you've got to do is pull your battery out. If you can't pull your battery out, you pull out two back body pins and then take the stock off, and the low will drop away and it'll stop firing. But obviously, again, micro switches, any switches, if you keep it held down full auto for too long, it gets hot. Things that get hot get plastic melting. I would never suggest a micro switch in something that's semi-auto because it's just not a good idea, because that's how they break. But full auto, it's going to give you a lot less negative effect. You're going to have a lot less a trigger arcing and all that shit. It's like standing in your house and, you flick your light switch on and off, it will blow your bulb. If you leave it on, it's highly unlikely to blow on its own. But when you turn it off and turn it on the next day, it might then blow. It's only that point of actually pulling the trigger and letting it go that you're creating what could cause negative effects for all those reasons. Every reason you can think of. So it's not, it got hot or anything like that. It's not the case. It's just there's a screw that's attached to the trigger. And
what was the fix for that? Because I assume you helped with the fix, or is it they just screwed it back in with locked?
I knew nothing about it. I received that gun literally the fucking day before the release, I think. I had to really get something together. And obviously my thing is I take it all apart and look at it and put it back together and see what I can do fuck with it. So the solution simply is I don't know what they changed, but it really is just, put some thread lock on the grub screw. Because all you're doing is, because it's a stamped receiver body and a plastic lower, there is going to be a little bit of tolerance where the trigger might not reach the micro switch arm. So you have to adjust it out a little bit of thread lock fixes it. That's it. That's all it is. But if you're going to see that problem, and if you've worked at airsoft sites, owned airsoft sites, you'll see the amount of people with 249s that just suddenly start randomly firing and then suddenly stop firing because the grub screw has worked its way out and fallen out, and now we can't make any contact. It's just that simple. It's that simple. So little bit of thread lock, problem goes away. I said it in my video, and I said, here's my video, watch it first. They went, no, we like it. We're glad you put some shit out. We'll put the video up as it is. Done. And that was it. I say in the video, you should really have fixed that AoE, because that's a big thing. And there was something else that I said, once you change the barrel a few times, it starts to move and rotate. You're going to get people complaining that they're getting feed issues. But again, that is every single 249. Their hop unit and barrel, everything is immaculate. It's so well made, but it's one little oversight that means it can still rotate a little bit and then doesn't feed.
I wonder if he's releasing those hop units separately, just for people who own a normal 249 like A&K.
They do normally sell the stuff on the website as spares, but again, I don't look. I don't look at the website.
No, I was literally just wondering if it's worth buying a few in, just because I know infinite amount of people who've had or have still got a 249, and they always say, it's not very accurate, and you go, well,
it's not meant to be accurate.
No, the hop units are dog shit on them.
Yeah, always, perpetually awful. I think the best hop unit on the standard 249 is the Novrich one, but I do prefer the one that comes in the plastic S&T, which is just a V2 gearbox. And then the proprietary hop unit you can't get spares of, but if you slap your mag in, you break it, and then you cannot repair your gun. So
I must ask actually, how have you found those version 3 rotaries that we managed to find?
Yeah, really good, really good.
Across.
Some things sometimes because they're cheap. I can sell those for less than I paid for the other ones that I had. And what the price I was paying at trade, not including shipping and whatever, I can sell them for less than that because they're so cheap. And are they the best hop unit? No. Is it better than a non-rotary hop unit or one of those Pro hop units in AKs? Oh yeah, much better, much better. And because they're cheap, sometimes you get one that is not quite fitting the way I did. I put 2 in an E&L. I had a third E&L a couple of weeks later, and it would not fucking go in. It did not want to feed. I'm like, oh, really? But they're dead cheap, and you just have to take the one, throw it in the bin, get another one out, and go, oh, well.
I found the one major complaint with those hop units was, I'll throw a picture up for reference if people.
The screw on top when you tighten the screw down.
I get a slightly longer thread screw because it's like a tapered screw, when really you could just use a normal. And
it's self-tapping as well. Yeah, it's a pain.
You could use just a normal, long, non-tapered self-tapping screw, so it can get a bit more purchase on the thread. Yeah. And it seems to be
that was the first thing I did. First thing I did, and straight away I was like, right, that one's going in the bin because they're cheap. Don't go in the bin, and then get another one out, and I just put thread lock on it straight away. Done. Yeah, that's it. I think we've done the G&G AK rotary hop unit, but that is absolutely vile. It's a C-clip that holds that piece down on top. So you've got to get in. You've got to hold the hop unit together. So you've got the dial and the spring and the ball. You pop it down, hold it tight. The barrel's got to be on. The rubber and all the alarms and things are all there. Then you've got to get a C-clip in and clip it on. It's fucking brutal to the point I almost gave up. It was brutal trying to get that on. And eventually it just pops on and you can sit down, your hands are shaking from how you've been holding something so tight for so long. Fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of those days once you finish doing one, you get home and the ends of your fingers start to hurt because you've been like faffing around with these fucking things. What did you find the best hop rubber combination was, by the way, for those ones the cheap rotaries?
I've been using most of them were fine with Friction Pros. They were, but some of them I think it was one LCT that it went, nah, I don't like it, and I had to use a maple leaf for no reason. It just would not get up to power. It fed fine, wouldn't get up to power, and I don't know why. Again, it could be because that unit was very cheap.
See, I tried a load of them. I found the G&G greens fit nicely. The maple leafs do tend to favour it. I tried a few of the quantums, and I just can't get on with those hot rubbers.
I really like them. I had the people that were saying, no. I fitted one, and the power went down on my gun. And it's like what they're not realising is the way it works. You can take if you take an 80-degree maple leaf, you have to give it a lot more turn before it bites on a lighter BB to make it hot.
It's the short hardness of the rubber, isn't it?
That's it. If you use the 50, then you've got to use slightly less because it takes less effort to push it through. And you can, with a maple leaf, you can incrementally from no hop all the way down, and it goes, the power, as you dial in more hop, the power goes down. With these, it's like there's no hop, and the power's high, and it's like no hop. There you go, baby. They're not great for things like 2.5s or 2.8s. It's not designed for that.
Yeah, I've noticed, because I tend to do a lot of the builds I do, especially AEGs. It's either 2.8s, generally minimum weight, I recommend.
Yeah, 2.8s to 3s is what I prefer.
Yeah, 2.8s and 3.2s. That tends to be the more popular one, is the 3.2. The quantum on the 3.2 seems fine. Quantum on the 2.8, I just can't get on with it. And I'm guessing
I think it just comes down to how you're putting it in and whatever else. There's so many little things. I found that a lot of people did say, the hop, I took it out, cleaned my barrel, put it back together again, and I cannot turn the hop down. And it's like, you have to literally turn your hop off and then just jiggle your barrel a little bit so it all sits back in place again. You don't have to do that with any other hop rubber, just these. But again, it's a learning curve of the design. With maple leaf stuff being so vast and expensive, I don't think they've got the longevity of something like a 70-degree maple leaf. I think they've got the same longevity as probably a 50-degree maple leaf. But it's a hot rubber, it's consumable. The people who've said,
it's one of them things,
so we use now for like 6 months or whatever, and a few people have gone, one person in particular, but a few people have gone, the range has gone down with it. And both of these people are running them either in a support weapon. One was a Crytac, and the other one was a full auto only SR25 thing that I did, where it's just fucking hosing. And he's using, 20 fucking thousand rounds a day. It's like, you've just worn it out. you might have to change that a bit more frequently. But again, it for other people that are just using it in DMRs, the ones that I've been using and testing, I've had no issues because I'm understanding of what hot rubber does. They are not designed to run forever. And these you can get in bulk and cheap, and that's it, I'd rather use these and make no real profit on them, but it's like, here's a spare if you need one,
I've noticed you've started to use the Solink gears as well. What are your thoughts on those? I got a hold of a set, I think it was last year, when they first sort of showed face on the internet.
Yeah.
The full helical set. And I found them very time consuming to shim because it's helical. Anything full helical is a bit of a longer process. But I liked the way they adjusted the timing peg, the tappet plate peg a bit further. They delayed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is much more suitable for brushless. But I've not had a hold of the latest batch of the helical gears. What are your thoughts on the latest ones?
So I had the early ones, and I've fitted a couple of sets of the newer ones. And it's just like doing any helical gears. Sometimes they're fussy, sometimes they're not. What I have found is that they are, and this is the UK. I couldn't give a fuck about other places that have got higher power. People have only got half a joule and full auto only. It's pointless.
It's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Exactly. So for what we do, they're pointless. Absolutely pointless what we do. Apart from, and I'll tell you more about this later on when we're not filming. Basically, they're spiral pinion and bevel gear that just drops into any gear set, and the pinion is on D. Mwah! That's a fucking game changer.
I was thinking about ordering. I saw that and went, do I just order a shitload of those and just fit them to any gears that might... Because, normally if someone gets premature engagement, it's normally the bevel and pinion that get damaged. Normally. Sometimes the spur, very seldom.
Well, this is why you're better off using plastic pinions and plastic pistons. I'd much rather use plastic pistons. If it breaks and when it breaks, all you've got to do is get some bits of shrapnel out and then carry on.
The problem is
people want reliability. This is why I'm using those SEMA pistons, because they do not fucking break. I've never had one break, not never. But it does mean that if it gets a jam or a stall, it's going to go down to your bearings or your gears or something, and it becomes more expensive. You've got to get that shit right.
I do appreciate what you mean by the plastic piston, especially the decent plastic piston that's got support both sides of the pickup tooth.
Well, these ones, the ultimate ones, are actually madball. These are fucking garbage. Absolute garbage. I've never seen one of these last very long. They're always chewed to shit. They are just crap. You've got to have, especially with the ones here, you've got to have your fucking sector gear smack bang in the middle. Or, kind of up more towards the top, but as close to the middle as possible. Sometimes you can't shim it that way because then you cannot install a tappet plate. No, you've got to file down. Bollocks. Absolutely fucking garbage pistons. And I don't know how they've been going for so long. I just don't know.
Yeah, the biggest problem I have with plastic teeth pistons is you're playing a risky game, aren't you? You feel like it's an easy fail part, and there's nothing worse, because I've tried it a few times where you'll try a plastic piston on your own gun to test.
Yeah.
You'll put it together. You've spent a good couple of hours building a nice gun. Put it together. It runs all right for a mag, and then piston goes. Pickup tooth's just fucked off or whatever. And it's just it wastes so much time. So I dread doing warranty repairs when you fit that piston on recommendation and it could come back.
Yeah, exactly. So this is I had somebody saying, I've got this unbreakable piston. Can I send it to you for testing? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can break that piston. And he was like, no, don't break it. You said it's unbreakable. If you're saying it's unbreakable, I'm not going to give it a really wussy test. I'm going to really hammer this.
Going to take a stab in the dark and guess it was Airsoft Mutation from Canada.
It was from Canada. I do not remember. It was like 2.5, 3 years ago.
Because they brought out their own helical gear set.
It was a 3D printed piston.
Yes, it would have been Airsoft Mutation. They're a nice bunch of lads, to be fair.
Yeah, when I said, I can break it, send it over. Like, well, do you want me to try and break it? Well, you said it's unbreakable. Go on. 3D printed stuff is not suitable for internal shit. Anything under load, no. Even the original Perrin V3 hybrids, they came with a 3D printed magnet holder. And even in that purpose, they had to go to metal ones. because it's just not structurally sound. It's not. I don't think it's going to work again. We'll see. A bit better.
But no, they're a nice bunch of lads over there. They seem to be trying their hardest as techs to make cool things, which you sort of always appreciate, new interesting things.
Yeah.
Because they brought out a really artistically well machined helical set of gears. So much so, I bought a set in. They were like 120 quid on the early access program because Sam at Kingdom's got a set as well. And I thought, I'm going to treat myself, get a set. I'm going to fit it in the Val because it was a full helical DSG set.
Yeah.
And I'm not a massive fan of DSG, but when it's all bells and whistles, fancy pinions, helical.
Yeah. And
I put it in. I says, the gears don't fit, lads. I was polite. I just went, the gears don't fit. It says, it might be. We're finding the tolerances are so tight that if the holes for the gears are a little bit too close, the gears are meshing too tight, and then they won't move. So,
well, guess what? This is why, and this is exactly why. There's a few people saying to me, the motor tower on the warhead is too thin, and I have to pack it out, otherwise it breaks. And it's like, no, I've never had them break. It hasn't happened. You've not shimmed properly, you've not installed properly. That's not true. I will not have it. Well, the pinions all broke because they're soft. You should use SHS. They are fucking SHS. You can't. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. And then you look at the way people are building them and all these little things. And if you were to take, like my motor towers, there's a certain generation of Classic Army and GMP, it won't fit my motor tower. It's just too fucking tight. It's like you should change the pinions on the warhead motors. They changed the silver one slightly wider. And yeah, great. But now they wouldn't even fit inside the pistol grip out the hole on a KWA. Wouldn't fit. Would not fit because it's too wide. Because you have to make things absolutely as average as possible. Because otherwise it won't fit things. And then people blame you. And it's like, it's a hobby industry, but we don't look fucking stupid, And it sucks, but there's nothing we can do about it. You just have to go, yeah, well, that seems about right.
Every time
you have to make things average as fuck.
Every time I hear you talk about warhead motors, I think of that lad who built that fucking 90 RPS brush.
Yeah, he still comments. I generally, instead of being a cunt, I just block him. I don't care. He got told by everybody, you're an idiot, and he still wouldn't back down. And he comments on my channel sometimes, and like, why are you talking? I've not fucked you off, but why are you talking? Why are you reacting with lols to my memes? Why are you trying to get involved in the conversation? You're a cunt, all right? You're a fucking cunt. And you message me directly to go, ha, 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 PayPal agreed with me. And it's like, you showed everyone how many times you broke your gun before the motor finally went, I can't cope with this much abuse anymore, and it died. It's you that broke it, and you showed everyone your build, and everyone went, no, that's too fast. You're getting 100 or something rounds a second. It's too fast. You're going to break it. And when it did, you blamed the motor, and then you cried to PayPal and you got a refund. Well, good for fucking you. And you message me, you prick, you fucking message me going, ha, 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 bet that burns. And I'm like, I didn't reply. Well, I don't give a fuck. And he's that kind of moron that then comments on my channel. And it's like, how are you still alive? My God.
I think he's one of 6 people in the world that still like the Aztec Apache.
Oh, they're crap. Absolute crap.
I did try. I tried my hardest to get that system to work. I put hours and hours into this thing to try and help figure out what was wrong. And I just came to the conclusion the design isn't right.
They're crap. Yeah. Tapetless. That's one of the reasons the PCW wasn't great. It's one of the reasons why the WE kind of failed.
MDRX as well.
Yeah, it's just not good. It's not suitable. And when you look at the cost of machining all that stuff, and you're spending 30, 40, 50 quid on a fucking tapetless cylinder head, well, that's great. It means your tappet plate won't break. Yay! Tappet plate, 2 quid. 2 quid AliExpress. Anyone can go to AliExpress and buy 20 tappet plates for 10 quid. And if it breaks, it breaks.
Yeah.
Change it.
Don't get me wrong. If a viable tappetless system came out on the market and it was a reasonable price, let's say, for instance, it came with, because when I was trying to help Aztec when they were doing their thing, just being polite and saying, look, I'll help do any R&D you need help doing, because I was a bit quiet at the time. And I thought, if we could bring one out that had its own piston head, that was a good quality piston head, and it came with the system and it was a reasonable price, you'd almost be winning then. It'd be worth doing. Because more often than not, I end up changing piston heads on certain guns, so it's almost a surefire win if you're getting the piston head with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that sort of stuff's a long way away. I mean,
it is just pointless. Like, when you've got something that's cheap and reliable, I mean, the ICS stuff, I've noticed since they've moved over to their black tappet plates, they don't break anymore. But when you've got an ICS that doesn't have the black tappet plate, and then you have to swap it out to somebody else's tappet plate, they just don't work. They break so quick and so easily on the split gearbox design. It's just the way it is. They just break. I've never had that happen. Well, good. There's lots of things I've never had happen. Well, even on my tester, that is not liking the shimming on that. I think he's basically the inside of the gearbox, the hole at the bottom, is bored out at an angle, or his motor was free spinning. Without him spending any money on new gears, I've literally I've just taken random gears out of boxes and gone, this is a gear that will go in there. I think he's a little bit fucked. I think he's fucked on this without spending any money. So I'll see if he wants to spend some money on it. And then I'll change out his gears. And he's got the cheapest bushings, and I don't know who they're made by. But again, I'm not charging any money. I'm doing this as let me have a look for you, mate.
Do you know what I really wish you could get a hold of, just commercially, is the G&G bevel gear.
I've got fucking oodles. The SEMA one, you can get them easily. It's the same design.
I just like that whole design. That's the only disappointing bit about the Solink is they're the OEMs of SHS, aren't they? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so. But again, SHS fucking makes everything for they make dolls, for Christ's sake. So they make sex toys, make everything. They're just a manufacturing plant.
But they've got that sort of traditional design where there's no on the G&G gears that sector of teeth only goes so far up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I like about that.
And that's how TM designed it to start with as well. It's just because when you go so deep, and obviously, as discussed, your motor doesn't just slide in at that absolutely perfect angle where it goes straight in. It will have to move around. If you've got your wires in a different place, it might be slightly over that way or up, down, left, right, which is why they're never perfect fitment. And because of that cutout at the back, I've got one here, because of that cutout, you can go a bit too deep without wrecking or locking it up. Mm-hmm. I actually find these take longer to shim. They do take longer to shim, but I've also got written on here if it's a G&G G2, I know how many and which model it is. Like the BAMP, for example, I've got it written just here how many shims I put underneath. And it's going to be a quick guide to start with. It's never accurate, but it's a quick guide to start with how many I think should go on there. So I do think they take too long to shim, but they are worth it. But again, the G2 gears are not as good as the original gears. They're not. They are the wrong size and they lock up on things.
Yes, I
see how much nicer that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do a BAMP for a chap the other day, and they are not nice guns to work on.
Everything should be perfect about it. And God, that video I put up saying if you've got a metal pistol grip, that's going to accumulate so much heat. And then the science cunts went fucking mental. No, that's not how it works. The metal will take away the heat. It won't contain that. And I'm like, well, but what if I'm holding it in my heat from my hands going on the grip? That's not how it works. It went fucking mental. And I'm sat there like, throw the sealer fish. He's pleased with himself. As they all went fucking nuts.
There's nothing better than someone who's not a tech telling a tech on the internet on the text video that they're teching wrong.
Oh yeah, and no matter how many times you try to explain, I'm fucking retarded. I don't understand numbers. I don't understand the biggest problem I have when I've had to have jobs where you have to learn acronyms, like TDC. I understand what TDC is. I always thought it was top-down control or something like that. It turns out it's not that. It's top-down central or something. But I know I recognise those letters. It's fine. But then when somebody goes, have you put the HMOs at the TDC with the ep.23 and you go, what the fuck did you just say the words? Say the fucking words, because I don't know what you want. I won't remember all these little codes you're giving me. Have you done the PDPs? What the fuck are you saying? Well, you've done the PDPs. What? Tell me what a PDP is. Well, you've got the PDP, the PPP, the DPP, and the PDP, and then P Diddy. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to, just tell me what it fucking means, or write it on your face so I'm looking at you, I can stare and get it. I'm not going to remember. Off on a tangent. But there are so many little stupid things that people do that really bug me like that. It doesn't make any sense. Just say the fucking right thing.
I remember I put a video up ages and ages and ages ago about cleaning your barrel. So there was this thing over COVID for some reason. Plastic build-up became a massive problem in barrels, where people would bring me a gun and say, my gun's dead inaccurate, can you help? I'd take the hop unit out, I'd just looked past the crowning, and there's like a thick white layer of plastic.
Yeah.
And what I used to do is take the hop unit apart, take the hop rubber off, so obviously there's no rubber anymore, and just clean that barrel with a weak solvent, because that would obviously immediately melt the plastic, flush it through, give it a quick polish, it's job done. And then it saves you having to buy a new barrel. It's a 10-minute job. And someone put, no, you mustn't do that because you'll increase the bore diameter.
Oh, the people who sit there lapping barrels are fucking hilarious. They're sat there lapping the barrel. You're telling me that you are going to make that gun fire better, further, more accurate by a noticeable difference, not even like a meter, but a noticeable increase. And you are so precision with how you're doing it. And you've sat there for 19 weeks doing so. You really think you're that good? I'm telling you, you're not. That's nonsense. It's bollocks. If you've got machinery to do it for you, yeah, you'll see a difference. But after you've thrown some projectiles down, you're going to sit there for 19 weeks again and do it again?
It's the way I look at it is that's more. I don't think that applies to our market. I think it's more of a US thing. You'll probably find it super high power because they're going to get more range than us, aren't they? Obviously, they get more range. They're running a shitload more power. You'll probably find that the sort of distances they're shooting at, a really, really precision lap barrel might make a bit of difference. Might. But I don't know.
Until they have to clean it again.
Yeah.
Any kind of smoothness is going to make it better. You're firing spherical projectiles. They're spinning on themselves. That's why most of the build-up is always at the tip of the barrel, on the upside, because the projectile's going through that way and lifting up. As it's spinning, the air is traveling basically under it. It's spinning. And after it's been touching the top of the barrel for so long, so a longer barrel will have far more build-up than a shorter barrel. And it's always towards the top and the tip. That's the big bit you've got to worry about. This is why a lot of the cheaper steel barrels, the first 2/3, yeah, they're all right. But the final third is so polished and smooth, it's amazing. Everyone knows the VSR-10 G-Spec is like the go-to bolt-action rifle. It's amazing, but the barrel's that big. How is it they getting range and accuracy of the barrel that big, if it wasn't a thing? And that's one of the problems that we have. The lapping and whatever else, and the stuff the BBs are made from, and the change in the laws and the manufacturing of these projectiles. There's so much going on that people don't understand. They go, the BBs are crap. Nah, they're not crap. That's not what's happened. That's not true. I'll make some noise 2 seconds. Hang on.
Have a cheeky.
When you've made it big time when you make your own tools. This is an old, obviously, extension drill bit thing.
Yeah.
I had that machined into a perfect bevel shape, so I can tap bevels on really gently, and it just literally knocks them in place. It's so nice. You have tools made out of other tools, so you can tool while you tool. Oh God, that feels so good. That's a beautiful feeling. It really is.
I made a little tool where if you had a bushing that was 8mm, but the bushing hole was like just shy of 8mm, so it's a bit too tight. Yeah. I made a thing that supported the underside of the shell, and you could just gently tap the bushing in. That was a fucking godsend of a bit of kit. So I know exactly what you mean.
Having a tool that does something like, again, some of a Patreon video coming up. I've got this. This is my Allen key. And I sat there with an angle grinder, and ding, 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 so that when I want to get inside the seam of pistons and unscrew them, clack, it is straight in, buzz, and I can take it out and it extracts the piece. It's amazing. Making a tool out of another tool, using a tool, is fucking brilliant. It makes you feel like a big man.
On the note of Allen keys, I really don't like the Novrich's M4 style where you've got the fucking Allen key down the buffer tube. What sadistic bastard thought that was a good idea?
I don't like that entire buffer tube because it's not the only brand to use it. I think it's ZCI buffer tube, and you've got to just slide the D-shaped bit, and you've got to hold it upside down and get on the thing, and push it like that, and you've got to. It bugs the bollocks off me. Some of them drop straight in. Have you seen the Golden Eagle ones? The Golden Eagle one is it's a D shape, but it's like a butt plug, and you literally put the screw in it, hold the D connector, and drop it. And it's going straight down, and it goes straight in. Done. And then you tighten it up. That's it. Beautiful. It's that little thin plate. Oh, God. And their thing is they're so tight tolerance as well that you have to wiggle it into place. Oh, it's fucking horrible.
And then you get it
really
down there,
like
and it spins the wrong way, so the cable's upside down, and you can't just leave that shit. You've got to wiggle it back round.
Yeah, because you know it's fine, but you've got to check it.
Yeah, and then you get the little gremlin in the back of your head going, that's broke the cable. You best check that. So you got to take it all off again.
So you take it all apart again. You haven't broke the cable. You put it back in again. It might break the cable. This is why I can't ever whinge when people go, whoa, the tech do a shit job on my M4 because like the wires are chewed up by the motor. And it's like, it can be avoided. But even if you glue that shit flat, you know what? It might still happen. You don't know it's happened unless you take it out and check. And when you put it back in again, you might have done it. So
now I've got a question for you because I need a bit of advice. I'm doing an order for brushless motors.
Yep.
I normally stock T238. I know you're not the biggest fan of them, but they've been really reliable for me.
Yep.
It's that swings and roundabouts thing, isn't it? It's you prefer Perrin, I prefer Jeftron. It's that sort of shit.
Yeah. Oh God, the amount of Perrins I've had fail is just almost none. Almost none. Like the first Jeftron I fitted today in 2 years, and it doesn't fit inside. Fucking hell.
I've had a Jeftron fail in a year and a half, and I spoke to Tom. Went, Tom, mate, this one's messed about. Sent him a video saying what it was doing, and he went, sent you a new one out. I said, do you want me to post you the one back? He goes, no. So I will.
And you know what happened when I had a problem with one? I got sent an audio file of his gun firing that proves that the one I've got did work.
I'm in a sense, I'm glad I don't deal with him. It's I think it's a different kettle of fish nowadays. But
yeah, exactly. If you're dealing with the wrong person, like you have to accept sometimes people know what's best. Yeah. And there are times when I've really thought I've been helping Warhead customers or whatever. And I've really thought that I was going to be right in my assumption, and then I've gone, actually, no. Turns out I've made a mistake on this one. Cool. Send you a new motor. Because you don't know everything, you've got to accept it. Even if you are as awesome as I am, you're going to make mistakes because you're still an idiot, you know?
It's one of those every day school day jobs, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I was thinking about putting a Solink order in. That's what I got onto the gears earlier about, because I'm thinking I may as well order some anyway instead of buying more SHS in. Do you think the motors, because I'm guessing you'll have had some across your bench at some point.
Loads.
Have you had a look at the ones where they have the built-in ARL bearing thing?
No, I haven't, and that sounds like something else to go wrong inside.
It sounds like something else to go wrong, but it you know, I'm just morbidly intrigued because I bet it's going to make the gear. You know, when occasionally, even if you build a really fancy gearbox,
there we go,
and it's got plenty of ARL teeth.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll hear that little bit of a reverse, just a tiny bit of reverse. As a tech, you'll notice. As Joe Blogs, you'd never notice. And I'm wondering if stocking those, maybe one or two of them, it might be worth testing for longevity, because I've got a feeling it'll improve the finished sound of a rifle. The only bit that puts me off is they've got a built-in motor tower, haven't they? It's all machined.
Yes, and that's a problem, because what if it doesn't? You try and put it in a cable way, it doesn't fit down the fucking tube.
That's what put me off.
There's so many little things that you make it too particular. The fact that Solink made brushless motors for the MP7 AEG by VFC tells me they really are trying to look after their customers. But they don't know fuck all about what they're putting it into, because those AEGs are the worst you can get, because the wires run through the hop unit. Yay! And if that hop unit fractures, or if a BB gets jammed, or if today's colour is bananas, then it's a dead gun forever. I've got 3 down here that I've gone, I can't get parts. I've asked other people, can you get parts? Yeah, I can get parts. I can definitely get parts. I've got an account with VFC and Red Wolf. Yeah, cool, get me some parts now. You got any parts? You have to speak to Umarex. And Umarex are like, yeah, we've got parts. Not that one, though, because we've used all those and all ours that broke.
It's the same with the TM gas MP7s, isn't it? When the trigger fucking housing goes.
If somebody goes, will you, this is why I don't look at people's gas guns. I can't be bothered. Like, you've got to clean it after every event. If you don't take it apart, you don't deserve a gas gun. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I will say, as a bit of a helping tip to a few people out there that might need it, the TM MP7 gas gun, it gets that thing, is it Sleepy Trigger? I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, it's called Sleepy Trigger.
Where the trigger box is worn on one of those sort of pivot points.
Yeah.
There's an easy fix. If you go on Amazon and buy a set of split pins, drill out that hole, and then just put a piece of split pin each side to act as a bushing.
Yeah, got you.
You can seat them in again, and it works. So that's, if it helps someone, it's probably no one's going to watch this bit, but it's a bit of helpful tips, if nothing else. So anyway, I don't know. I
get loads of bits like that, but yeah, the brushless motor thing,
I might try the one, but you know, not the basic, but the one below that. Now I've noticed
there's a very, very cheap one, and that one I've not been a fan of. I've seen the really expensive one. I'm not a fan of that one either. And I've seen a good few with the speed control adjustment, and it's absolutely pointless. It's absolutely pointless because all you're doing is limiting the voltage that goes to it, and you're making something struggle. Yeah. If they're designed to run a certain voltage, and you are restricting the flow of the energy, you blow them up.
You're choking it back. It's. I use the T238 brushless adjustables, but I don't actually use the adjustment. I just make sure it's turned all the way up, and then I'll just put the correct, the most suitable speed motor I want in the build. Yeah, it's the base components in sort of the motor tower, things like that I quite like. Their pinion gears seem to just mesh with most things nicely, and that's what I'm wondering with the Solink. I might try some of those. I might just try a small batch and just.
I know that a lot of the brushless motors that come through that are dead, and when I see a dead brushless motor, it is T238, and I've just used warhead parts, and it fixes them. That's it. So I'm just like, And the trouble is, when you've got high technology stuff, and this is what you've got to think about as well, you might be able to make something that is very slightly quieter, where you can go, oh, that's quiet. But then you're going to get customers that come to you that can't build their own airsoft guns. And because they can't do it themselves, how many times has somebody seen you working on a gun? Somebody's literally dropped it off and gone, I think my gears have stripped, or they're about to strip. And you find the gun, it goes like this. And somebody walks in and they go, oh, that sounds good. And you go, yeah, see, this is why you're chasing your tail. That tiny little bit of squeak. Like, I know what I'm listening for. I know this is not going to sound right through the camera, but I find that sometimes I'm listening to it and it sounds amazing in person. I play the video back, it sounds bollocks. And sometimes it sounds fucking bollocks in real life, just awful. You play back the video, sounds smooth as butter. You're listening to something that most people can't hear. And if you are trying to make your build for them the most perfect thing, it could be twice as noisy as what you want it to be. It's probably quieter when it came in, and they won't notice. They just won't notice. It's all about the gearing and the shimming and how much over or under shimming you've got. Some guns you've just got to under shim them because that's how they like it. Aries, you've got to shim them differently. You've got to shim in a weird way. Sometimes you've got to use their fucking bevel gear because it won't take another one. I had an entire batch of ENC gearbox cases that wouldn't take any fucking gears that were not originally ENC. Sucked, and it sucked because they were in the bin, because it's just the way it is.
Do you follow much news on the new rifles that are coming out also?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I've got my eye on that fucking SKS that they've announced. Is it S&T?
I'm happy that it's black polymer because that's the only way I'd accept it, but I don't like those Cold War guns. I think they're ugly as bollocks. I just do not like them. So
that's where me and you differ. You're a basic bitch and like M4s. Everything M4.
Oh yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, that'll be it. You've got a Spectre M4, haven't you?
I've got two, yeah.
Yeah, I've got two as well. They're fucking good.
Three. I've got three. I've got a third one on the way. Picked up 60 quid because I needed the mags.
Except I've got a Falcon. I've got a Falcon one, and I've got the JG. The Falcon one is HPA, but as much as I'm a basic bitch, I've got things you don't even know exist.
Oh,
But it's okay.
You'll have a fucking horde of stuff. You don't even need to try and flex. I'm fully aware you've got an obscene horde.
You got loads of M4s. Yeah, and I don't have any Tommy guns. I've got one Tommy gun, which I'm going to turn into that little 2-2 pistol thing.
I just can't get on with them.
Everything World War II is just it was made for a reason. It was made so that they can go, right, let's get everything fucking running, let's make sure everyone's happy, let's keep people alive, we've got to use it the cheapest money we can. Yeah, that's great. It doesn't make them feel good or look good. And I find that World War II guns are just fucking uncomfortable, they're fucking ugly, they are just horrible. Just horrible.
That's one thing I'd love to try though, is a World War II-esque game where it's just CQB bolties. That would be funny as
yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like good fun to me.
That's Airsoft at its core, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that is exactly what it's meant to be. I think it's going to sound even worse now. Fucking safety.
You know what the worst part is?
Go on.
When you're listening over this, it does it no justice, and I can barely hear it because it's got like a dampening on the audio.
Yeah.
So it just cuts it out straight away. I've tried to send customers videos of me like firing a gun. Yeah, I'll do it. It's a dry fire test, so you can have a listen. And
I have to stretch out the other way and literally just stretch out to fuck. Really, just get all the way out the way and be at the muzzle end. Because, like a Styroor, if you put your face on that, it's never going to sound good. If I do a Styroor for somebody and they're being shot at with it, they're going, fuck, that's quiet. If you've got a Styroor, all you can hear is echoing.
Well, that Steyr you sourced for me, I keep looking at that body kit. I just can't justify it. You remember I showed you the front end? It's that genuine one.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's like 300 quid. It's worth more than the gun. And you think, it would look really cool, but I'll probably use it all of 3 times a year.
That is it. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I build the gun, so I've actually got something I really would use. But it was like $3,000 for my fucking bolt. I'm never going to use it. I'm going to make some noise 2 seconds. My neighbours love me. Yeah, have you heard the other 2 that I've done today? If you'd have heard them, they're like butter. They're beautiful. And obviously this one has been so molested, trying to get it all together and make it all fit in all the right places. It just sucks. And trying to do that on 0 money is hard. I'll take as much time as I need at the end of the day, yeah, but I can't. It has to go back sounding pretty good, and it's just so molested by now. And the gearbox casing could be warped. The piston is fuck knows what. I mean, this was his gear. That was me. It's just there's nothing left of those teeth. They haven't broken off. There's nothing left of them. Vile, really bad. So I might not ever get this sounding absolutely perfect. It might never happen.
But it was cheap, and that's the key. That's what he asked for. So,
well, that's it. I mean, he's had the gun for he's been playing Airsoft for quite a while. And I think it was like one of the very, very early Evos, and he said this has not worked in fucking centuries. It's doing more now than it ever did before. But yeah, I'm just kind of looking at it going, you're going down that sort of rabbit hole of it's the same thing that happens to me. You'll be working on a gun and you think it sounds alright, I'll just tweak it, and you go, it sounds a little bit better, and then an hour later you're still faffing around. Yeah. And it's all about, the way this base plate holds the motor. Like you need the motor tower perfectly central in here. Yeah. But you can't include any wires, and it's like, oh man.
You've got to take the screw out completely so you can make sure it's central, and they are a bit of a pig.
But this one was a lot, putting the rest of it together was a breeze compared to the other 2. This is just a much older one.
I've spotted that pistol grip in the top left. I did that a couple of years back because that was how I got bevel to pinion.
Right, got you.
I literally have a tech tips out saying do something like that with a spare one. Buy one of those spare. You can match up your bevel to pinion in seconds that way, because you can't fucking see otherwise, can you, if you're over indexing?
No, but there's other ways of doing it, and I don't think this would have done anything. No. Because his gearbox at this point is so molested. I mean, that's his original piston. I'm amazed that he's changed over God knows how many times. So I'm amazed.
The ASG piston heads are worth keeping, if nothing else, on that piston.
Yeah, I got my own piston heads, don't I? But because these kind of automatically correct themselves.
Now I can chop this bit. I can chop this out if required.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken,
except I modified them. I changed the design.
I know they're Pete's, but they are ASG, aren't they? OEM originally.
No.
They've got the metal insert and everything.
They were originally Lonex pulled that idea because you've got the same kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But it's the amount of vents, the size of the holes. It's just piston head stuff, but it's just the way they attach it.
Have you come across the new ASG POM ones where they got a bit of a cup in them? I really like those.
I've never had the need to because I've got about 400 million.
You've got far more stock.
There we go. There it is. There it fucking is.
Bang on.
See, there is no amount of this that would ever have fixed that.
No.
Because it wasn't ever about, and this is what people get really stuck down on. There is no perfect method of shimming. And there's some really great videos out there, people drilling holes in gearboxes, and the information, none of it is bollocks, but none of it is useful because your motor can only go in so far. And so, you're trying to bring a bevel. How many times have you looked at a gearbox and you've literally got that bevel on top of the motor and it's just perfect? Sounds like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no perfect method. But what I have learned, it is 100% about the length of the actual shaft. I've taken that down by about 2 mil. And I have taken a particular, this one is a ZCI motor pinion. And it literally, that's look at KWA, TM, Garda, Crytek, the pinions like this. And then you get some of the pinions that are more this shape, but they're shorter. Right? Well, this one is wide. It's like this. It's really wide. But that means that it's marrying up perfectly inside here. But it's marrying up because, again, if I use this bevel gear, it wouldn't have worked because I've got the normal bevel gear that goes right to the top. And it's going in and it's absolutely perfect, but it's just out of alignment slightly. So I'm just cutting. You can actually just cut away the bottom of these, but it's just taper them off. It's quicker and easier just to do it with the fucking motor pinion and cheaper if it goes wrong. And that is what I've just done there. That is now beautiful. It's not about the perfect bevel to pinion because that is sometimes, and in this case, unobtainable. Unobtainable.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so there was no amount of doing that and looking at those guides. It's bollocks. It's absolute bollocks.
The single best way, in my opinion, to do it is the best way that works for you and the fastest way, generally speaking. Obviously, you need to concentrate on making sure it's not shimmed like shit, but speed is key. Like when building an AEG, it's at least a quarter of the build time shimming.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Where's the pinion? The pinion I just took out. I put it somewhere. It's on the bench somewhere. It just wasn't right. It was not. This is this one is a Solink. This one, if I'd used this gear versus using the ASG gear that, I've just taken an ASG gear, I've stuck it in the gun. Everyone does their gears differently. Like sometimes you see a 16-to-1 gear, you look at the sector and there is a little bit of a step between the halves. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you get a 16-to-1 and it's literally an 18-to-1 top half. And it's the bevel that is actually 16-to-1. And so you never really know between like a 13 and 14, you can kind of mix and match them. They do kind of go together, but you're best off sticking with 13s all over or 14s all over. It's like you wouldn't go from 16 to 13, it won't work. You can kind of go 12 to sector that is a 12, and then spur that is a 13, maybe the other way, but you're best off keeping it all together. So I did it that way. I guarantee if I'd have used this one here, that would have sounded flawless instantly without me having to change the motor pinion. But would this have lined up? I've got one here, which is out of one that blew up earlier on. Would that have lined up perfectly with a 16-to-1 here? Maybe, maybe not. Which is why build lists and tiers. I hate airsoft tiers. I hate that. I hate a tier.
When you quote, because we quote in very different ways, and I still think it's different strokes for different folks, isn't it? But how do you tend to structure a quote for a customer? If someone says to you, I want this upgraded,
I ask them how much they want to spend. It's just how much do you want to spend? What's the most you want to spend? And if they go, £600. I go, right, we're definitely not spending £600. For what you want and the base gun that you've got, I reckon we can do this about £350. And don't go any higher than that, you won't see any benefit. It's all about my hours. And if I'm doing, like this gun, I'm doing it for free because I've done 2 other revos today. It's for a friend, blah. I wouldn't start my day with this because I might lose a day of pay. If I've got somebody who's come along and their gun is, I've got an M14 to do. I'm doing a one-of-a-kind M14. It's on my jobs list. And it's going to be making an ETU that fits and putting in micro switches. It's going to have decock on buttons and all that cool, crazy shit is going to be in there. I'm even going to try and get some optical in there because he's got a huge budget. He wants to do it.
Oh, so it's like that Perrin thing you've got where they're all.
I'm going to try something else first. I've got a little idea that might work. Yeah, and so this is why things like Jeftrons annoy me. That sometimes they just don't fucking because I can make anything fit anything. My SVD now runs flawlessly with brushless and an ETU and all that cool shit, and no one's done that. I did.
Have you reversed the polarity of it then? Is that what you've done?
Yes, but you can run a reverse polarity on the motor. You get one shape.
Tell us how.
It's really easy. You've seen the inside of one of these, right?
No. Well, I've seen inside
every
of it
single
once,
brushless. Yeah, every single brushless. Let me find my. So I don't think I've got one that's completely apart. I've got like 5 that need repairing in the probably 700 or 800 are fitted. So I don't think I've got one. Basically, what you've got is 3 wires that stick out the can. Now, the inside of the motor looks like this. So this one here, normally you've got your magnets on the inside of the can, right? And then you've got the rotor with the windings, or brushless works opposite way. So this is just not really, that's magnetic to fuck, but the motor itself won't be magnetic to anything at all. You've got 3 wires. You've got a positive and negative, and then you've got a third wire, basically. And you need to know which one of those wires, because, again, if I drag out my box of... And, again, literally in all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds I've done, this is all I've got. And some of these are just where people have balked them. Do I have one? No. Basically, you've got 3 wires. You've got 1, 2, 3. Okay? And one of them's positive, one of them's negative, and you need to figure out what those 2 wires are and swap them over. But at some point, this third wire, I'm not going to tell you exactly which one it is, because it can differ between brands of motors. You are going to take that, in fact, you can see it running through there. It needs to be attached somewhere else as a point, because you only got positive and negative going in. It's like a signal wire for an ETU. At some point, you can just desolder it and attach it to the side. And then you can run it in reverse. It really is that simple. But the problem you've got is that with a brushless motor, you can adjust the RPM up and down with that switch. What you're doing is just reducing voltage. You don't want to do that. Especially with T238, that's like, they really do prefer to have 11.1 or 14.8. They can kind of take 7.4s, but you see a dramatic decrease. If you drop that rate of fire down, it's just going to fry. It's going to burn itself out. So what you're doing is I've gone for the fucking tangent. I forgot what I was going to fucking say because I'm a fucking idiot. So what you're trying to do is remove all those coils from the can to get to the wires. And that is why you can't, that's what I was going to say. That's why speed-wise, it's controlled by the coils. But the coils just have to be basically glued to the inside of the can. So if you have one of these, there's no one, like even the factory, they're like, if they drop one on the floor and they got to pick up, so, was that high speed or low speed? They look at it and go, we don't fucking know. We're not getting it back out again. It goes in the bin. And that's it. It's just the way they do it. So you can, if it was just like a regular motor, just change the coiling around here,
rewind
that wouldn't be a problem. And you can run it in reverse, but with one of these you can't. So you are literally just detaching a wire and just swapping it over. That is all you're doing. But you've got to do it a certain way at a certain time and make sure the wires are then in the correct place, because these cost fucking 35 quid a piece, 40 quid a piece, just that top bit. And you've got to get it right first time. And if you've taken all that out and deglued it, it is a lot of hassle. And I went through a couple of motors before I got it right, but I was determined to get it right. And that's why the SVD is still just sat there unused.
How does it
And it's
sound
completely
with that
plausible.
4-gear setup and that, because if most of the 4-gear setups, the SVDs, if it goes on to, they can get semi-auto lockup quite easy. How did you find that?
Well, again, I've got no semi-lockup because, again, I've got an ETU inside it and I've got a pair of ETU++ and all that stuff. So I don't get into semi-lockups. But if you do get some kind of lockup, if you do get, I'm raining motors, bastards! If you do get a lockup, that's completely sideways, you fucking knobhead. If you've got 4 gears, obviously it is going to be slightly slower. It is. It's like an M14 is inherently slower because you are running a much smaller spur gear, but the bevel and the sector are just regular 18:1. In the perfect world, somebody would release 13:1 gears for an M14, but no one's going to do it because it's such a limited thing people want. And when you're doing brushless motors, you will find that the torque is always, if you've got a decent brushless motor, the torque is always mental. But if you've got a 22k or 23, 24, 25, 26, 27k motor, it's going to run slower. It's going to run slower in semi and full because of those windings. The torque is always going to be crazy. It's just the time it takes to turn it. So I use the ultra speed motors because it's going to be equally, as if you do it properly, it's equally as reliable. So you may as well just keep the fact that those gears, they are 18:1, but they are very slow in firing, very sluggish. But if you run a really fast motor, brushless, then it will turn them very, very fast in semi-auto because that's just how they work. And again, that's something people didn't really understand about the brushless stuff. It was, what TPA is it? It doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, it does.
The TPA is always
that. It's just anti-speed, isn't it, really?
That's it. The speed is what changes. And it's not just speed. It's not like your semi-autos exactly the same every time you pull the trigger and the full auto changes speed. It is all about the fact that it will be this in semi on a slow one, and the faster one will always be this, because it will do it. And that's what people they can't get their head around it. The speedy boys who were always, no, you never ever do a high-speed motor with 12:1 gears because you'll break it. You never do it. What's that? Brushless motors, you say? Well, let's do DSG. Let's do DSG, and we'll put them on 13:1. No, that's stupid. You can't do DSG and 13:1. It'll break. Oh, okay. But you can get these motors that can make a regular 18:1 set about 1 joule, clock about 70 rounds if you're clever. Oh yeah, let's do that. It's like, why did you not follow your first bit of advice? And that is, it's going too fast. Because at some point, it's going too fast. No matter how it happens, it could be slow gears and mad high-speed motor. It could be mad high-speed gears. It could be a fucking TSG gear set running on a basic, boring motor. It's not, you have to build it the way you want it to work. If you go too much speed, in any direction, it's not going to work. It's going to break.
You've got to do a video on how to reverse the polarity of those motors.
I don't even know, because
it's such a shame.
I'm happy. But I'm happy that I know how to do it. And the trouble is, when people do something, they accept no accountability for themselves and think they've just broken fucked up. They never do.
It's the whole issue of warranty, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, I hear that all the time with the Novrich stuff. They always say, well, we have put videos online showing people how to take it apart, so just fix it as warranty for us. And we go, okay, could you just not show them how to take it apart? I mean, there are disclaimers. You take this apart, it's on you. Like, again, Evos, they tell you, they used to include the little fucking Deans in the bag. But if you cut your mini Tamiya off and put a Deans on it, you've voided your warranty, because there's a very good chance you've soldered it like an idiot with a stick. So it's all about the how much blame can I put on someone else? Yeah. How much blame can I shift away from myself to somebody else? And where I've got connections with certain companies, I'm not going to show you how to do certain things, because I'm not gonna, because it'd be, people go, well, this guy said you should do it, and I did exactly what he did, and you go, yeah, but you're also a fuckwit, aren't you? So I'm not going to show you how to do that shit. my videos where I put ETUs inside P90s before anyone had actual specific ones for it. When I've done PDRCs with micro switches and fucking little just little ETU bits. When I've done that stuff, it's kind of because I don't want to show you exactly how I did it.
Yeah, it's part of how you earn your living, and you don't want people saying, "Well, I tried it didn't work."
Yeah. Because earlier on, you sent me a link to get into this video, and it didn't work. It's me. Anytime I try and sign into Lawrence Kay's website to order things, it always just tries to log me in with a different password and goes, "Oh, we blocked your account," and then I get a message straight away on Facebook. Has it kicked you out again? What have you done this time? And it's like, I just can't use your website. And what device I use, I can't log in, it doesn't work. And well, I've changed your password again, put this one in. Some people just can't fucking do it. For no reason. I'm magnetic. Some people have got sausage rolls to fingers. They can't do it. But I accept the fact that I'm magnetic and I'm useless around that kind of technology. And other people have got to accept that actually you're a fucking dumbass. And you should not be attempting to modify anything. Because look how long it took me to figure out which pinion, because I had to keep his motor, which pinion fitted, how I was going to modify the pinion, so that I can just give him a motor pinion and not charge him anything for it. It would have been quicker and easier for me to go, "You're getting a new gear." I was going to put in one of the Solink spirals, done. That had sorted it straight out.
Yeah.
But he hasn't got the money for that, so I'm doing him a favour, and so I had to spend longer manufacturing a solution, which is why I wasn't out on the piss tonight. Doing this video, I was here in the workshop on the piss doing this video, because it is just, there's no single answer for any question. There's always right and wrong, but sometimes there is that little blurred line that I hate, because I do believe in black and white. I don't believe, well, each to their own. No such thing. Absolutely no such thing. Well, I'm just giving you my opinion. That's great. You're wrong. Opinion is not a fact, dickhead. So yeah, and this is why I don't show people certain things. There's one video on my channel I took away because I became friends with the person who built the gun, and he eventually said, "That's actually one that I built," and I was like, "Take it away, all right, but you're not touching any more airsoft guns. You're never building anything again." "No, I understand, thank you." "Right, shush." So video's hidden, and he's not going to touch anyone else's airsoft guns, and he hasn't. So I think that's fair. Still helping the community. But I've got a video that I've turned the comments off. I had to, because I was getting the most abuse I've ever got, and I get abuse for breathing. But I had a Glock 17 video, and it was literally somebody is a guy who owns a shop. He's owned it for a very, very, very long time. I've known him for a long time. He wanted a Glock 17 doing, and he sent me the VFC Glock 17 Umarex thing. There it is, and here are all of the upgrade parts. And my video is me. I think I do it at high speed. I put the gun together and test it, and eventually it's working. And people went fucking mental because I wouldn't tell them which parts I used. I wouldn't give them a parts list. I wouldn't tell them about any problems I had to overcome, because they can't understand that I know that it's the VFC, and there's only a couple of little bits that are different, but it's still mostly the same design as what TM have done, except their spring is much tougher than the Garda upgraded spring. It's much tougher. So you're putting the upgrade spring and you're getting
the worst results. Yeah.
You can't do it that way. I always tell people, when you're fitting a barrel to a slide, you have to cut on the inside of the slide, make it diagonal so it can just slide over it. If you watch films from the 80s and 90s, when you see these blank firing Glocks and whatever, they're all real guns, but you see they've had to machine off the ejection port part on the actual barrel so that it will unlock easier and the slide will go back. You can see it in so many films, especially mid-90s films. There wasn't any CGI gunshots or anything. It was literally just, well, to make this fire on a quarter-load blank, we've got to ramp the chamber. But only the biggest nerds are going to fucking notice that. And, hey, they're going to watch this on VHS, so who cares? And nowadays you watch it and you can see what's cut away. It's like Reservoir Dogs, where Harvey Keitel shooting in front of the police car, and you can see the rubber balls bouncing off of the windscreen and collecting in the fucking windscreen wipers. You watch it in the cinema, you watch it in VHS. That's something watching it, you don't notice it. And then you watch it on VHS and you can't tell. You watch it on DVD, you can't tell, but everything's so crystal clear. You can see these are rubber balls being fired at a windscreen to make it look like it's being shot up. It's all this stupid shit. And I had to close off the comments on that video because I was getting so much hate because people couldn't understand that there is no parts list for this. I put all his parts in there. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to use somebody else's. I don't think I had to use different parts. But I made it all work. But it was like, if he had left this gun completely standard inside, it'd be working exactly the same. There is no benefit to this build whatsoever. No benefit. It's a waste of money. A waste of money. And that is why, again, my phone's going to die. This could be the end.
It's all right. I was about to say, we've just hit 2 hours. And
cool. I should have been by fucking 7 o'clock anyway. Because
don't worry.
Too late there. But yeah, that's basically, I don't show everyone everything because I want to keep my own fucking secrets. Sometimes if somebody asks me how to do something, I'll tell them how to do it. Because Sam's helped me with stuff like that. And I've helped other people with stuff like that. There's, what did you do to solve this? Have you tried this? And Sam would tell me, well, the KWA stuff, actually try this shit. And I've gone, I did all of it. Didn't work, but I did most of it. And it actually is fucking perfect. Well done. Thank you. And, I passed that information on how to do it because it was passed to me. If I've learned something through my own, 2-3 days of why the fuck doesn't this work, I'm not going to give you the full details because I'm not going to have you taking the job away. But I'll let you know that I can do it, because you've got to think about number one, at least sometimes. So.
Yes, it's true. Hang on 1 second. I can hear a right clatter behind me.
Yeah, that'd be a dog. Right. My phone is going to die. 2 hours, 3 minutes.
Right.
So,
well, it was good to catch up, mate. And we'll do it again at some point.
Yeah, easy peasy. I mean, it's easy for me to get some work done and do it this way because I managed to stay on top of it.
Whatever works, isn't it? And I'm just happy chilling out. I'm getting the workshop built at home soon anyway, so.
Yeah, you said.
But
anyway, down, it's going to go. Oh yeah, right. 3%. Right. Speak to you in a bit.
Catch you later. Cheers, dude.
Bye. Oh, I've got to hang it up now. It's not a fucking work, is it? Yeah.
So, thank you for watching this episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget, if you really feel like it, please go and book on to our little event we've got coming up. It's going to be really good. We've got a load of interesting gameplay planned. We've got some cool guests turning up, such as Luke. And yeah, it should just be a good crack. If you've got a small business, come along, and we'll see what we can do to help, get you some good contacts, that sort of thing. So that being that, I'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers, chaps.